First, I will start our e-poster presentation with the introduction. Gene technology is a modern branch of biotechnology which makes it possible to directly alter, remove genes or parse genes from one species. Technology's genes are used to change plants, animals, and other species. In all living species, genes are contained and are passed on from one generation to the next. They are coded markers that are used by organisms to generate proteins and perform functions in life. Tenera oil palm may look like the best oil palm existed, but most of the consumers not even aware that it's formed as a result of hybridization. In gene technology use also has its own pros and cons throughout its plantation from the first steps until the oil palm of Tenera has been harvested. Lastly, some issue about Tenera oil palm also has been discussed between the plantation and the mill. Now, moving on to the objective for this assignment. Firstly is to study the process of formation of Tenera oil palm. Secondly is to investigate the advantage and disadvantage of Tenera oil palm. Thirdly is to study the treatment and management used in managing of Tenera oil palm. And lastly is to explore some issues related in Tenera oil palm production.
Next, I will be present about the method. As we can see at method, it shows the crossbreeding between Dura and Piscifera. In F1 generation, the crossbreeding between Dura and Piscifera will be produce a new hybrid Tenera. In F2 generation, the two combination of two Tenera are likely to produce one Dura, two Tenera, and one Piscifera. That's all from me. Next, I also want to present about the result. As we can see at result, it shows the cross section of oil palm. As we know, oil palm consists of three types, which is oil palm Dura, oil palm Piscifera, and oil palm Tenera. Based on the figure, the characteristics of Dura is thick endocap, thin mesocap, and thin kernel. Then, the characteristics of Piscifera are thick mesocap, thin endocap, and bare kernel. And last but not least, the characteristics of Tenera are thin endocap, thick mesocap, and medium kernel.
Okay, now we are moving on to the discussion part 1. So we all know that oil palm has become a huge demand throughout the world. Therefore, few research and experiment has been done to find the best way to produce the best quality of oil palm. So during the 2006 study shows that crossbreed between the Dura and Piscifera has been done, which is the offspring is Tenera oil palm. We all know that Dura is an oil palm that has a thin mesocarp but has a fibering. In contrast with Piscifera, it has a thick mesocarp, which is where we can extract the oil but doesn't have a fibering. So when both Dura and Piscifera has been crossed over and the offspring is Tenera oil palm, Tenera has both characteristics, which is it has a fibering and also a thick mesocarp. So until right now, Tenera oil palm has become a huge demand throughout the world because of its advantages compared to Dura and Piscifera. One of it is it has a very good protection and also a very good producing of oil with a very high price.
Hello, so today I will talk about the advantage and disadvantage of the Tenera oil palm. First, we're gonna talk about the Dura palm oil first. So as we know, Dura has the thickest endocarp among the other types of palm, which is around 2 to 8 mm. This thick endocarp makes the Dura variant resistant to environmental change and disease, but from the disadvantages comes at the price. The production of oil is poor for the variant. Piscifera has the thickest mesocarp among all, about 7 to 13 mm, but Piscifera tend to die and not so resistant to environmental change and disease, unlike the Tenera variant. Tenera has the features of Dura and Piscifera variants together, making it as the best among all. Tenera has both dense endocarp and mesocarp, so it also has good protection and good output of oil and can fetch at the highest price in a short time. Next, we're gonna talk about the disadvantage of Tenera oil palm. Actually, there are no disadvantage for Tenera because it is the best yield that palm oil can produce. However, there are slight disadvantage from doing a mass production of Tenera oil palm. Plenty of space are needed as the global demand for Tenera oil palm are rising. If it continues, there will be none space left to meet this demand. Hence, this will lead to deforestation. Trees are cut down in areas that are used to farming are not sufficient anymore, as additional space is needed. This will lead to an increased amount of carbon dioxide and the flora and fauna will lose its habitat.
So, as for the conclusion, based on the several research methods and understanding the concept of inheriting the shape of oil palm, commercial cultivation from Dura breed to Dura X Crucifera hybrid breed, which is DXP, began to be carried out in Malaysia. DXP hybrid breeds produce Tenera fruit, which is oil palm with the thin shell. From that, Malaysia has finally emerged as a world-class palm oil industry.